Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Tyler, and today we're diving into Beyond Licensing, how Cortex CSP program simplifies, secures, and scales your Microsoft investment. My co-presenter Eric and I are focused on keeping this presentation practical and actionable. So whether you're an IT pro, a developer, or just someone who wants to get more out of your Microsoft cloud investment and licensing, you're in the right place. Here's what we'll cover in the video. What is a CSP and why does it matter? How does CSP differ from EA and PAYGO? How to move from enterprise agreements or PAYGO to CSP, support while leveraging a CSP, M365 licensing as a whole, what makes core tech and our approach different, highlighting some real customer wins, and finally, how you can take the first step towards a CSP. While enterprise agreements continue to change, specifically the removal of waterfall discounts, the tiered pricing model for licensing based on number of seats, a lot of people are asking, what exactly is a CSP and why is it important to me? Well, think of a CSP or cloud solution provider as your personal guide through the Microsoft cloud. The Microsoft ecosystem and landscape is vast and complex. Instead of wandering through it on your own with a map and a flashlight, hoping you're on the right path and that you don't get lost, you have a partner like Cortec walking right beside you, helping you create a plan, pick the best path forward, avoiding pitfalls, navigating sudden and unexpected changes, and even helping spot a shortcut or two to hopefully save you time, money, or both. With CSP, you're not locked into a 3-year contract like with an EA. One of the best things about a CSP is that it provides you with flexibility. For example, think of M365 licensing. You may have seasonal employees, or you could have an increase or decrease in headcount due to the normal course of business. Well, with a CSP agreement, you can leverage annual billing or monthly, so that if you need to make adjustments to your licensing mix, you can scale up or down as your business needs change. With a CSP, you're not stuck with licenses you no longer need. And Azure is quite similar. With Azure, you spend With Azure Spend, you don't have to commit to a number that you expect to hit over the next 3 years, but instead you only pay for what you use while consistently trying to optimize your resources and consumption cost. But here's the kicker. It's not just about buying licenses, and it's not just about paying for what you use. The real value is in having someone in your corner and helping you navigate the Microsoft ecosystem inside and out. There's so many changes that Microsoft makes to its platforms and technologies almost every single day that it would be nearly impossible for one person to keep up with it all. But if you choose to work with the core tech as your CSP, our whole team is behind you at all times with every step you take. With a wide array of expertise in all things Microsoft, we're committed to helping you optimize costs, troubleshoot issues, and make sure you're getting the value from your investment that you expect. Proactive guidance and ongoing support are essential for avoiding pitfalls and errant out-of-control costs. And yes, you can still access Microsoft and leverage Microsoft support, but with Cortec as your CSP, you've got a team that can escalate issues, advocate on your behalf, and ultimately keep things moving so you're not just a ticket number sitting in a queue. Now you might be wondering, well, how is CSP different from the other options out there? Well, let's break that down. The biggest difference with an enterprise agreement or EA is that you're signing up for a multi-year commitment. An EA is great for predictability, but not so great if your needs change. You're locked into a 3-year contract where you agree to a multi-year financial commitment. So what's great is that you know what you'll be paying for at the end of 3 years. However, if you don't hit your committed value and spend, you still must pay that committed value, which unfortunately might end up leaving a lot on the table. And now, with the removal of tiered pricing for licenses, organizations under an EA will be facing serious potential increases in costs for M365 across the board. In an IT landscape like the one we face today, is it reasonable or fair to expect that you, alongside your finance team, will be able to perfectly forecast your spend over the next 36 months, especially as the rapid pace of innovation marches on? That's tough to say. And the biggest difference with pay as you go is that it's still flexible, but you're on your own for support and optimization. So again, you now find yourself map in one hand, flashlight in the other, unsure of where to go. If you find yourself having gaps in technological knowledge, scalability and optimization can be tough. Understanding how to get the most out of your M365 and cloud spend is a tall order when your resources to do so are limited. CSP sits right in that sweet spot. CSP offers flexible terms, CSP needs no big upfront commitments. A CSP acts as a single partner for support, billing, and guidance, and you have the ability to scale up or down as your business evolves with a team there to support you. On the left side of the slide, we've outlined some thoughts that you might be having that lead you to think about utilizing a CSP rather than an EA or pay-go agreement. You could be having a discussion with your IT team, your finance team, or the C-suite thinking, does a monthly usage-based consumption model fit better with our business cash flow requirements than a multi-year financial commitment? When you hit roadblocks or technical issues, you might ask yourself, is Microsoft technical support alone able to handle my specific needs and or fill the gaps in areas where we don't have expertise? Or when I work with Microsoft, do they resolve my issues in a sufficient and timely manner? You may experience seasonality and think, do I have seasonal employees, whether summer, holidays, or the busy season, where my licensing requires more flexibility than I'm afforded now? Or do I have the time and bandwidth to monitor and act upon it when changes do arise? And finally, do the Azure native cost management tools like the cost management portal do enough for me to provide effective FinOps management, or to communicate costs to team members, or to plan for future spend with different departments in my organization? If any of these thoughts are crossing your mind as you pay your Azure bill, open a technical ticket, onboard seasonal help, or try to understand and communicate components of your invoice, it might be time for you to give our team a call and start looking at how things could and should be rather than how they are done now. So if CSP sounds interesting to you, here's the good news. Moving from an EA or PAYGO to CSP is way easier than you think. There is no downtime, there is no data loss, and there's no need to redeploy your workloads. In the transition process, CoreTech handles all the heavy lifting. As a team, we consult with you on what your needs are by sitting down with you to map out your current versus future state from both a licensing and Azure perspective. From there, it's simply about transitioning your billing from your current agreement type to CSP. And rest assured, we do this with you side by side, making sure you keep full control of your licensing and resources while the process moves forward. After a quick and easy transfer process, you'll find yourself with access to all the benefits of CSP we've covered so far: flexibility, consolidated billing, technical excellence, and ongoing support, all without the headache of a big migration project. Now, I've lightly touched on this topic throughout, but proper support is critical to CSP. With CoreTech, you have access to a 24/7 incident support team for Azure and Microsoft 365, a transparent escalation process, access to Microsoft Premier support, and access to governance tools through our Insights platform to help keep costs under control, monitor ticket statuses and updates, and ensure compliance. Our process to resolve your technical issues is simple and effective. We triage your ticket, we move it through our L1 through L3 engineering teams with expertise in the specific areas related to the issue at hand. And finally, if needed, escalate to Microsoft Premier support, where we have a dedicated Microsoft relationship manager on our team who continuously monitors your ticket and advocates on your behalf. The outcome of this process we've designed is that you, our client, gets quicker results even when a ticket is with Microsoft support. Ultimately, we're ensuring a timely and satisfactory resolution. All this to say, we aren't here to just sell you licenses and hold Azure subscriptions. We're here to be a long-term partner, helping you get the most out of your Microsoft investment by providing proper support and guidance for your unique needs. Now, the next slide is all about licensing, so I'll pass this off to my co-presenter, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. So Tyler's done a really good job explaining, what a CSP is and how to leverage it and some of the benefits of it. I also wanted to take a moment here and talk about some of the benefits that CoreTech specifically brings to our CSPs. One of the big areas that we assist with is around licensing optimization and right sizing. Tyler had mentioned being able to have a more flexible license assignment process when going through a CSP. We can work with you to help right size your licenses so that you can make sure you're paying for what you're actually allocated, or you're allocated for what you're actually paying for, and you're not paying for licenses that are sitting there waiting for new users and that buffer. I can't count how many clients have come to our CSP and we've looked and seen they've had 10, 15 different licenses that are just sitting there unassigned, accruing costs for no reason other than, hey, we know we're going to hire 15 people in the next 6 months. We're able to work with those clients to add those licenses when they're needed so you're not billed before that point. We also work with our clients to identify when separate licenses can be consolidated into specific suites or bundles. One thing with Microsoft licensing is a lot of the Microsoft 365 E3, E5 suites come with a lot of different products, a lot of advantages, and there are times where you might be paying for 4 or 5 add-ons that it makes sense to move up a tier, bundle those together, get more features, and end up paying less. We work with you to help understand what your actual needs are so that we can see if there's an offering that makes more sense to save you money on that side. In the same vein, when you're looking at these types of bundles, we also proactively look for timing renewals and transactions with different incentives and promotions going on. For example, right now there's a promotion going on till the end of the year around Microsoft Copilot for M365 licenses. We've worked with some clients that were looking at potentially adding those licenses in Q1 of next year, but it made sense for them to purchase some of those early at the discounted rate, lock that price in for a full term, rather than wait a month or two for the prices to go up. So we help you make informed decisions based on what is currently available. Finally, in one area that I think that is really important is around third-party overlap. As I mentioned, a lot of these suites in the E3 and E5 areas contain a lot of different products spanning across a number of different areas. Things like compliance, endpoint management, security tools. Those might be included in your existing licensing, where you might have a third-party tool providing the same functionality. So we can work with you to help understand where some of that overlap is, and it might be an option for you to either reduce some of those third-party application requirements, or maybe it makes sense to scale back your Microsoft licensing if you've got a tool that you like that already covers that area and you're paying for a larger suite that includes functionality you don't need. One example is a client I worked with at the beginning of the year was leveraging Varonis for all of their compliance needs. When talking with them, we've found that they had Microsoft E5 licensing, so they had Microsoft Purview and all of the compliance suites on that side. We worked with them to understand all the functionality they were using in Varonis. We mapped that to the similar features in Purview and helped them make an informed decision to migrate to Purview and reduce the cost on the Varonis side. So these are a few of the ways that Cortec helps with Microsoft 365 licensing and helps you get the most value out of those licensing when working through our CSP. I believe the next slide is back to you, Tyler.
Thanks, Eric. So with all this being said, why choose Cortec as your CSP partner? Well, first, we're an Azure expert MSP and the #1 Microsoft Azure cloud provider in the United States. That means we've been vetted for technical excellence, security, and of course, customer success. We take a security-first approach with built-in compliance and proactive monitoring, and our Insights platform gives you a single pane of glass for managing Azure and Microsoft 365, which for you means no more jumping between portals. And when it comes to support, you're not just getting a help desk, you're getting access to a deep bench of technical and engineering expertise across our engineering teams and technical SMEs across the board. And again, if needed, our direct escalation to Microsoft Premier support, where we facilitate the interaction to get your issues resolved quickly and efficiently. But CSP isn't just about buying licenses, holding Azure subscriptions, flexibility, etc. It's about unlocking real value for your business. So quickly here, I'd like to highlight just a few quick facts around some real customer wins. The first is about how we worked with a customer who had been watching their Azure costs climb for months but couldn't figure out why. They lacked the visibility they needed to properly diagnose the issue, and even if they had, they told us they probably still wouldn't have been able to tame the cost due to technical gaps in their team. So they came to Cortec and they asked for help. Our CSP team ran a cost optimization workshop, identified unused resources, and shifted workloads to reserved instances, and from there regularly met to monitor costs. The result, their Azure monthly spend dropped about 18%, freeing up budget for new projects, growth, and innovation. Or take another customer in need of some serious licensing consolidation. This organization had licenses scattered across multiple CSP agreements, no governance around procurement, and even a credit card number floating around for purchases whenever requested. This was making renewals and their monthly bill a nightmare. The licensing ship was actively sinking, and it was taking on more and more water every single day. Again, the CSP team, alongside resources like Eric here at Cortec, helped them consolidate everything under one CSP, Cortec. Then we streamlined their renewals and aligned their licensing with actual usage rather than just quoting them at existing quantities. The outcome? Simpler management and a 12% reduction in annual licensing costs. We have so many stories like this where our CSP team has helped new clients or even prospective clients in need. If you're interested in seeing more stories like this, visit cortec.com and check out the content page under the resources tab. All in, that's the kind of impact we aim for. Real, measurable value. We've worked with enough clients to know that impact is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Having a deep bench of expertise and a unified team all working towards your best interests comes into play every day here. As a CSP, we create real change for organizations. Now, coming full circle, I hope that you learned something practical about Microsoft and its landscape ranging from EA to PAYGO and, of course, CSP. I also said I wanted this to be actionable. So, if anything that we went over or highlighted today interests you and you're ready to see how Cortex CSP program can maximize your Microsoft investment, let's connect. We're only a call or email away, so reach out and tell us about the challenges you face in your current agreement. Whether it's Azure cost, licensing efficiencies, or support issues, we'd love to show you one-on-one how our team can help you simplify, secure, and scale your Microsoft investment. Let's make your Microsoft Cloud work smarter, not harder. Thanks for your time.